breakfast Sunday morning, and I am using the Bubby's Light English muffins here for 2 points plus. I have 2 points plus on an egg that's cooked. And then the avo, I don't remember, I'll put it on the screen. And then half of a Kraft American slice cheese. So I'll put the total up on screen. And then to drink, I'm having a cup of the cashew milk with a splash of the raspberry syrup, and I just kind of whipped it up. And this tastes like a great strawberry quick, so that's what I'm having with it. Okay, we are back from lunch, and I am prepping for the week. I'm going to make a meatloaf. I'm going to put this chicken. I've got a bunch of garlic here. I'm going to peel that and mince it and put this chicken breast in a bag. That's going in the oven. At the same time, the meatloaf's going to go in the oven. I'm also going to be roasting these veggies for the week. These get cut open and sprinkled with seasoned salt. These get poked and just roasted whole. And then also these are going to be probably just have a little olive oil spray on these asparagus, and those will be roasted as well. I'm also making some bread for the week. This is going to go into the oven to rise. It's my wheat bread, and then I'm cooking some hard-boiled eggs for the week as well. All right, very quickly, I'm going to show you what goes into this meatloaf. Meatloaf is one of my husband's faves. That's why I'm making it for the week. So I've got 1 1/3 pounds of the ground beef. And here I'm going to use about 1/4 cup of the chopped onion, 2 eggs that are beaten. Those are going to go in. Typically I'd use like green peppers because that adds a whole different flavor, but I don't have any, so I had to use the mini peppers. I'm going to use 3/4 cup of the chopped mini peppers, 3/4 cup of the rolled oats are going to go in. I have 1 tablespoon of the Worcestershire sauce. I'm using the Lee & Perrins. And then also I have 1/8 ounce of the tomato sauce. Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to have to clean that up, aren't I? All right. And then I'm going to put all of this in a loaf pan, like a 9 by 5 loaf pan, and then put it in the oven at 350 for an hour. And then at the hour mark, I'm going to bring it out, and I'm going to brush on top of it, or just spread on top of it, these 3 items. I've got 2 teaspoons of regular mustard. I've got 4 tablespoons of the sugar-free barbecue sauce by Hughes. And then also 1/4 cup of the sugar-free ketchup. And after I mix all that up, that's going to go up on top, and it goes back into the oven at 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes. All right, I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil here, probably like a tablespoon over the whole thing, and then close it up in the parchment paper so that I can keep the moisture into these and it won't burn. So you can see I'm trying to not overheat the house, but get as much into that oven as I can so that I can cook once throughout the week and save some energy. Okay, so my zucchini's nice and roasted, my yams or sweet potatoes are nice and soft, and the asparagus is not dried out. Look how nice and fluffy they still are and ready for the week. All right, so far these ones here are for my husband. He's got sweet potatoes, meatloaf, asparagus. I've got the 1 tablespoon for 0 points of the Parmesan on top of the squash, the baked squash. It's got chicken breasts. The empty spots are going to be for the short or medium grain brown rice. And so I've got some over here. I've got 1 meatloaf and the other ones are chicken. And I'm waiting on rice for those, which is just going to be a quarter cup is 4 points on points plus. So I'm probably going to mix extra veggies in with my rice. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, and I'm doing a little bit of leg squats here. I just got out to warm up for my workout, and I thought, you know what? Today is a, what is this? Shoulders and triceps, I think it is. No, chest and triceps. So I'm about to get into the gym and do that, but I wanted to do a little bit of a cardio, and I thought, well, let's change it up a little bit. So I've got 14 stairs that go up to the 2nd floor, And I turned on Lainey's Life. I like to work out while I listen to my friends. And she had an 11-minute video, and I thought that's probably enough time to do this. So I got about 28 flights of stairs done in that amount of time, and watched Lainey's Life, her video, while I did this. So now I'm all warmed up and got some good cardio in, did some front of the leg works and my glutes, and so I'm ready to get in there and do some lifting now. Hey everybody, it is still Monday morning, and I wanted to check in with you real quick before I let you go. Okay, so I did a lot of prepping this weekend for the coming week, not just for myself, but for my husband, and he's very, very grateful. Okay, so one of the things that is really going to help me out about prepping for the week is not only is it going to help me to prepare for success for this week, I'm not going to, be looking for something and afraid that, oh man, I'm so hungry, I'm just going to start eating anything. I know exactly what's in there. I know how many points are in there. I know, what I can go to. I can just grab stuff, and that is like so important. But what it is I'm setting myself up to be successful in other areas. It's not just about my fitness and my weight and stuff, because I have other goals this week that I wrote down. So every week, now last week I felt like I was kind of meandering through a little bit, and I wasn't getting done some of the things I needed to get done. So this week I'm really being intentional about this, and I think that prepping food for myself and my family is going to help me get those goals done. So one of the things I want to do is, besides I homeschool my kids, that is a really, really big investment time of the day. Field trips, projects, just book work and study and things. It takes an enormous amount of time, and the preparation from all of that takes a lot of time. But besides that, I have a garage full of stuff since the move, and our eldest son, he moved, and we ended up taking in a lot of the stuff that he would just like to get rid of. The reason why we took it was because we're planning a yard sale. So we said, well, we'll sell all your stuff, we'll sell all our stuff and get rid of it all. But we have yet to do that. And I need to get into the garage and sort things and label things, and you know how long that takes. So I've set myself a goal of 1 hour per day to work in that garage and get ready. And if it doesn't rain this weekend, maybe this next Saturday, we can get that done and have that sale, right? So I really have to focus on that. But besides that, I didn't bring it up here. I got a bag full of, I went to Hobby Lobby for like the first time. I've been meaning to go there for so long. Isn't that funny? I've never been in Hobby Lobby before. But I've been looking for needle felt supplies. And I know I could have ordered them online, but I kind of wanted to find them in person if I could. And I found them at Hobby Lobby, and I bought a whole bunch of the supplies. I've been wanting to get into that craft for a while, and so this week I've set aside some time every single day to watch tutorials and try to get a little practice in to do that, because I want to show my 10-year-old how to do that as well. He said he's also interested in making some of the smaller animals. So anyway, that's another thing that I want to do. I've got a few different things that I really, need to focus on, and I don't want to spend all my time cooking in the kitchen, because then that steals time away from all of those projects. It steals time away that I can be with my family. Also, I wanted to share something with you, because I think it's so important to track your progress. Don't meander through your weight loss, your fitness goals, and just go, I think I remember I was this much, or don't just track the weight. Really track the measurements and really watch that, right? This morning I woke up and I thought, I am just, I felt like I just dumped a lot of water or something. For some reason, my body looked and felt different. And I thought, I'm going to take my measurements. I really needed to do that. Now, last week, they were pretty much different. And doing the heavy weights that I'm doing right now, I know that my body's just going to fluctuate a ton, because of the inflammation in the water that it's going to hold is going to be tremendous at times, and then like nothing at other times. And I don't know, it may or may not reflect that on the scale, which sounds bizarre, but it's true. And I'll show you how true it is. Now, last week, my measurements this is how it can fluctuate, especially when you're on a heavy weight routine. On the 25th, I took my measurements, and then I took them this morning. Sorry about the glare. My bust was 38 on the 25th. This morning it was 36 and a half. My waist was 34, and then this morning it was 32 and a half. My hips were 39 and a half, and they have gone down to 37 and a half. My glute area, my rear, and that whole area, it was 41, and today they're 40 and a half. And so my thighs are the same. I have very strong upper thighs, 23 and a half on the left and 23 and 3/4 on the right. They are different. I don't know why, and then the upper arm right up here, I took it at the thickest part. Was 12 and a half last week on the 25th, and then this morning it was 11 and 9/10 this morning. So it really, really fluctuates, and I think it's important to keep track of that because, and on the scale, what that transferred into was I was up 0.2. So I was up 0.2. So then what does that mean in terms of muscle growth versus water? I mean, something is just, and yet it makes you go, what, right? But it's so important to track because this is exactly what I wanted. Something's happening, right? There's a lot of something happening, and I'm sticking with my routine and I'm doing my best, and this is exactly what I wanted. So I'm kind of like letting my body figure it out. I think it's, they say that when you do like a heavy weight routine at first and you're really, changing it up, your body's going to go into a type of a shock, which is not like a bad shock, but it's just kind of like, okay, what are you doing? Let me see how I can deal with what you're doing, and it'll hold back water, it'll do all kinds of things, and maybe my body's figuring that out and it's starting to look a little different. I can feel it and I can see it a little bit in the mirror. So but anyway, I'm just going to keep on going, maybe 2 or 3 weeks or more before you really even notice. So it may be a long time before you start noticing the difference, but just keep on going, do your workout, whatever that is, however maybe small or large your workout is, or however intense it is, watch it and track it so that when there's a change, you can go back and you can go, this is what I've been doing, this is what's successful, this is what didn't work out so well, maybe I can change this up. And we have to do the same thing with our diet as well, because sometimes when we don't see a difference, it's just a matter of changing maybe like your macros, right? Maybe you're just having a little too much fat or a little too much carb, right? And so I'm a real big advocate for using the chronometer or MyFitnessPal in addition to tracking. And the reason why is because you can't really see much of your macros by tracking just the points. You can change up. Sometimes it's just a little tiny change that maybe you need to do. Maybe just add so many grams of fat more and maybe a few less carbs, and that might be all that it takes to set it off on another direction. And so you don't have to make as major change as maybe you think that you do, right? So tracking is like super, super important. And I know double tracking is like really hard for people to do that. And so sometimes it's just a matter of tracking a week or tracking 2 weeks that way, and then that way by sight and memory what has what and what is a good routine for you. And so you don't have to do it like forever. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go for now. I love you a lot. I'll see you in the next video.